Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today I want to share some ideas to enhance the Blackmagic design, Slate metadata, and project metadata. These updates would make workflows smoother, especially when working with DaVinci Resolve. As a dedicated Blackmagic user, I see these proposals as opportunities to refine an already fantastic system. Let's dive right in. Let's begin with Slate metadata. While it works well for logging critical information, its integration with DaVinci Resolve could be optimized. When reading the camera manual, one will note that Blackmagic states by adding a letter to the scene number in the scene number editor, you can also indicate the current shot. For example, 23A would indicate scene 23, shot 1. Currently, the camera combines scene and shot metadata into a single field, mimicking the look of a physical slate. This is perfectly fine for display purposes. However, in Resolve, this setup causes complications when creating smart bins. For those unfamiliar with smart bins, it is a manner in which DaVinci Resolve reads metadata contained within a file to organize intelligently. By enabling smart bins for keywords, people, shot, and scenes, an editor can quickly find the clip that they would want to use in a timeline. Scene and shot metadata smart bin options are available for use. In its current form, scene smart bins treat each incremental shot as a separate scene, cluttering the workflow with unnecessary bins for each scene. This makes organization less intuitive. Now, I do want to note that there are two different schools of thought on scene and shot labeling. Both practices are used in production. Scene 12 would start with 12 for the first shot and then increment to 12A for the second shot and 12B for the third shot. This is one method. The other is 12 would start with 12A for the first shot and then increment to 12B and 12C and so on. Both methods work fine and shouldn't affect how metadata is handled in camera or in DaVinci Resolve. The code in camera simply needs to change to recognize that the shot letter designation of a scene belongs in a shot category. What I propose is separating scene and shot in the metadata in camera. For example, when in the camera's slate page, the operator can still select scene 12A as an input. However, behind the scenes, in the coding, within the camera, the 12 is input into scene and the A is input into shot. On the next increment to 12B, the code knows that 12 is input into scene and B is input into shot. In DaVinci Resolve, scene 12 would stay unified, while shots A, B, and beyond would remain in the same scene smart bin. This would streamline imported media so that this change would not need to be made after import. Next, within user preferences, the toggle for automatic smart bins for shot metadata should have an option to have shots parented within scene smart bins. Thus, if automatic smart bins for scene metadata is enabled and a user also enables shot smart bins, the option to parent shots within scenes would clean up the smart bins. Additionally, the order in DaVinci Resolve that shot and scene metadata is presented could be updated to list scene over shot. Currently, shot is presented first. Now, let's quickly touch on formatting. This falls under a grammatical pet peeve, but also has to do with aesthetics. Currently, fields like day/night and environment use lowercase letters for their entries in camera. This is despite the camera slate page displaying the text using uppercase for the first letter. Instead, in reality, the metadata that travels with the clip and populates the fields in Resolve are all lowercase text for day, night, interior, and exterior. While this may seem minor, it creates an inconsistency that detracts from the professional presentation of metadata. To address this, I propose standardizing capitalization across metadata fields in camera to align with advertised examples. For instance, day/night and environment should default to uppercase for the first letter, ensuring a consistent and professional appearance throughout the metadata workflow. This simple adjustment reinforces Blackmagic Design's commitment to quality and user experience. Next, let's talk about project metadata. I'm proposing several new fields that could expand its capabilities and better reflect the needs of modern productions. Here's what I would like to see added: production company, producer, cinematographer, assistant camera/focus puller, and sound mixer. Adding these fields would make it easier for this metadata to travel from production to post and provide critical production details directly within the camera metadata, saving a DIT time to add these fields after capture. Majority of the time, these fields remain unchanged throughout a production, and thus entry can happen at the start of production and not require changes. Imagine a DIT creating the metadata inside Resolve in advance and being able to load project metadata into the camera from a media card, just like with LUTs and presets. This would make setting up a new project faster and more efficient. But has Blackmagic Design already made an even better method to streamline adding project metadata automatically to cameras? Even better, imagine being able to populate project metadata fields through Blackmagic Cloud as part of the cloud workflow. This would allow teams to collaborate seamlessly and ensure consistent metadata across multiple users and devices. For example, when a project is initiated in the cloud, fields like production company and roles like producer, cinematographer, and sound mixer could be assigned and pre-filled directly into the metadata fields, eliminating redundant data entry and potential errors. Integrating this feature into the Blackmagic Cloud workflow would streamline project setup, particularly for productions where metadata consistency is critical. By syncing metadata automatically across all users working on the same project, this approach not only saves time, but also enhances collaboration and reduces the chance of inconsistencies during post-production. Lastly, I would love to see a copyright field embedded into RAW files as unchangeable metadata. This aligns with existing industry practices such as those implemented in EXIF metadata standards for the still photography world, which include copyright information to safeguard ownership. Incorporating a similar standard to Blackmagic RAW files could serve as proof of ownership, ensuring that production companies and creators retain control of their work throughout post-production and beyond. In summary, these proposed changes aim to enhance how Slate Metadata integrates with DaVinci Resolve and expand project metadata to better serve productions. I believe these updates would significantly improve the Blackmagic workflow and empower users to work more efficiently. Thank you for considering these ideas, and I look forward to seeing what's next for Blackmagic Design.